By the way, Howie, I know that I like to keep you abreast of the new language that we're dealing with. It's constantly evolving. What words are okay to use, what words are not okay to use. And according to AP's style book, the term mistress is no longer okay. Don't use the term mistress for a woman who is in a long-term sexual relationship with and is financially supported by a man who is married to someone else. Instead, use an alternative like
side piece.
Howie, that is so. I'm surprised you know that terminology.
I'm looking for an alternate word so I don't offend anybody.
No, these are the alternate words that are acceptable.
Gal pal,
companion, friend, or lover.
Oh boy, friend.
On first reference and provide additional details later. The destruction of language, George Orwell once said, is a beautiful thing. And this is the destruction of words for sure.
How can you call the woman a Kamala?
How dare you?
Howard, we will move on from that comment. Now I always have to ask permission for this because I know that Howie does not enjoy when Grace's news takes a turn into royal news. But Howie, for 2 seconds, could I have a tiny moment here?
Go ahead.
I find this story incredibly odd, and I wanted Howie's take on it. Prince Andrew, as everyone knows, Prince Philip passed away. I think it was last Friday at the age of...
Can you call him Randy Andy? Or is that now prohibited too? Like you can't call anyone a mistress or a master?
You have to call him Friendly Andy.
Yes, thank you, Jared. So Prince Philip passed away last week at the age of 99. Very honorable guy. A lot of people were very sad about it. I'm a big Prince Philip fan because I watch all the royal stuff. And so his funeral is going to be over the next couple of days. Prince Andrew, his son, who, like Howie just mentioned, has a long history of scandalous stories, shall we say, including friendship with Jeffrey Epstein. Do you know what he wants to do at the funeral?
Bring in some lap dancers?
No. He wants to wear his military uniform.
Oh, my God.
Despite the fact that he withdrew from the high-ranking Royal Navy position over his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein. Howie, and you know this, I am a absolute diehard fan of the Queen. I find her to be like so stoic and just really, it was a different way of life, the stiff upper lip. And I just have to say, she's dealing with nincompoops. Now she's trying to bury her husband of 70 plus years, and this Randy Andy showing up going, Mom, can I wear my uniform? How about no, Andy? How about you just show up and shut up?
You'd think he's 5 years old and he got this uniform for Christmas. I mean, is Hunter Biden going to ask to be allowed to wear his U.S. Naval Reserve uniform next? Where does this end?
I actually saw an alleged report that Prince Harry, or former Prince Harry, now he just goes by the name of the name of Harry. I heard that he wants to wear his uniform as well. I'm like, this is like a battle of the nitwits.
Well, but at least he wasn't, I don't think, kicked out of the service.
No, but it's like, can't you just show up? Like, do you have to make everything about you? These people are the bride at every wedding and the corpse at every funeral.
Well, I don't know. We've talked about this enough. Let's move on.
Okay, fair enough. You gave me a good amount of time. So did you hear about this Black Lives Matter leader? We talked about how she bought the house in Topanga Canyon.
Right. And
she's coming out, Howie, to tell you that she is now the victim of all of this backlash.
She is the victim, Grace. Be specific. She is the victim of white supremacists.
And racism, exactly.
White supremacists who include Jason Whitlock.
Yes.
Who is a black columnist for Fox Sports, I believe. He's often on Tucker Carlson's show. Jason Whitlock, when I've seen him on Tucker Carlson, he's never struck me as really like being able to pass the white supremacy litmus test. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like Donald Trump. He was an anti-Semite even though his daughter was Jewish and his grandchildren were Jewish and his son-in-law was Jewish.
Did you see though? Twitter offered him a way out. They offered him a way out of Twitter jail. They said just take down the tweet about the BLM woman and you can come back on Twitter. And he said, no way. He said, I'm going to be Nelson Mandela in Twitter jail.
Oh, good for
I thought that
him.
was perfect. Perfect.
And you know what? We need more people like that because, Howie, I'm going to give you an example. I have a relative who shall remain unnamed. She's younger than me. She's my cousin. And she went to a woke school, and at one point, all the people were signing some sort of petition about something that she did not agree with. And she was getting all of these harassments from her friends saying, you need to sign it, you're a racist, this and that. And so her mom at one point looked at her and said, if you just want to sign the petition so that these people will leave you alone, you can. And you know what she said?
What?
I'd rather get shot in the foot than sign that thing. And I thought, more people have to have that resolve. If you really believe what you're spewing, then just stick it to them. I wouldn't delete it.
Did you see, though, there's a survey out today saying that most employers are more likely to discriminate in giving a job to a Trump supporter than they are any other kind of person.
Oh, 1,000%. I believe that. Are you kidding me?
They scour social media, and if you if you went to a Trump rally and put some social media up there, you're out, just out.
Howie, I'm milking this job for as long as I can because I don't think I don't know where my career takes me after this. I think I'm canceled.
I don't know where anybody who voted for Trump goes from here. I mean, and I know that's not a reassuring thought. It's easy for me to say at my stage of my career and the fact that I own the business, but I'm serious about this. You got to be in your own business. You got to learn to make your own way if you're not woke.
Right, and I think that it really does bring back to a point that I hadn't really thought about until Donald Trump was kicked off of Twitter and then Parler was kicked off the App Store.
Right.
Which it makes you think, listen, there are plenty of very, very wealthy conservatives. There are plenty of creative free thinkers. I mean, Elon Musk leans a little bit right. So does Kanye West. We need to start creating our own platforms, our own companies. We can't be held hostage by Jeff Bezos and like Coca-Cola all the time.
Right. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, Covfefe Coffee that we were promoting yesterday. I mean, it's a small outfit, but I mean they're definitely deplorables. They're MAGA people like us. Why not patronize them? And it's really a good product too.
It's a good product, and you know what the other thing is, Howie? I don't know if you're like this, but when I know that I'm spending money that's going towards a company that doesn't hate my guts, it makes it a little less painful to take the money out of my wallet.
I totally agree.
Speaking of sales, though, I just want to have one more story here. Toilet paper. Toilet paper sales reportedly drop after a year of panic buying.
I saw that story this morning. I was thinking of all the empty shelves last year.
And Howie, I have to say,
now they're overflowing.
I never understood it. I never understood the toilet paper. Like, why did people think that they needed that much? Why? It just never made sense to me. Stocking up on certain things, water, milk, bread, I kind of get, but toilet paper? Mm-hmm. I guess it's like if you're in a situation where you're hunkered down and you need it. But geez, some people were getting like 2 dozen rolls of it.
Do you think if Biff returns this Friday to promote panic, report on the climatological conditions in New England, do you think he should mention toilet paper shortages?
I'm a personal favorite of the Planters peanuts when he mentions those. Polar bears and Planters peanuts is where my heart lies.
Yes, I know. Biff notices whether they've run out of dry roasteds and or cocktail peanuts. So and the mixed nuts too.
Howie, once they take away a lot of the peanuts and you're left with the unsalted, that is when it's time to panic. Because Lord knows, if you're buying unsalted peanuts, there's something amiss.
I agree, and you know what's it's even more disappointing I found is when you think you're keeping an eye on things and you get burned once with the unsalted peanuts because the label looks too similar, but the next time you look a little more carefully and then you get home and you say there's something wrong with these peanuts and you look at the label, low salt. Let me give you some advice. Everybody doesn't know what I'm talking about. If you're going to get low salt, you might as well just get unsalted because low salts suck just as bad as unsalted.
And honestly, if you're going to get low salt peanuts or unsalted peanuts, you might just want to not get peanuts.
Right.
Pick a different snack.
Right.
That's all for Grace's News. I honestly think this was a very well thought out Grace's News. We covered a lot of ground here, Howie.
Thank you, and I got a lot of sound cuts to play here as we go through the day. A lot of news to get to. All right. And again, get this is your this will be your final chance to get a $100 gift certificate to Folensby Inn in North Sutton, New Hampshire, for just $100. It's a half-price deal. It's a great opportunity, and go to HowieCarrShow.com and click on store, and it's right there. Grace's Goodies. They'll be sold out soon, and you won't regret it. Thank you, Grace.
Thanks, Howie.
The Biden administration's policies and executive orders are already causing some economic disturbance. Tax laws are going to change. Your tax burden on selling real estate will grow. Don't get caught flat-footed and squander the equity in your real estate built up over years or decades. Sell today with J.J. Manning. For over 40 years, J.J. Manning has been the leading auction house in New England. From high-end homes to estates to commercial properties throughout New England, J.J. Manning can get your property sold fast and contingency-free. There is a big reason why Mass Lawyers Weekly recently voted J.J. Manning #1 for the fourth consecutive year. It's because they have a huge following of bidders who pay cash. When you sell with a broker, you pay the commission, but in an auction, the buyer pays. Right now, there are a lot more potential buyers than there are sellers. So you may not even need a broker, and it's going to cost you a lot of money to use a broker rather than going with an auction, where the buyer pays, not you. These are treacherous times in the real estate market. Some sectors are at all-time highs. Think the suburbs, think the Cape. Others, retail, commercial, in many areas, are losing ground. Don't wait until Joe Biden destroys this sector of the economy as well before you cash out. To learn more on how to get your property sold fast, contact Charlie Gill at jjmanning.com. With over 16,000 sales and satisfied clients, you can be the next one. Call them today at 1-800-521-0111 or go to jjmanning.com and get your property sold. I'm Howie Carr.
When Howie's on, every radio is a magic radio.